story continues as Sudako is shocked seeing all of the guys from his school at his workplace, and not only that but also in a huge fight. The goons of Manhwa also notice that Sudako seems to be connected to the first-year brats of Gukyang school and decide to attack him, thinking of him as an enemy as well. The sudden attack startles Sudako and he takes a while to settle into his own. The attackers constantly attack him with punches and kicks, but Sudako uses his superior speed to dodge them all. But as he was carrying wine bottles on a tray in one of his hands, the constant movement causes him to drop it and break it. This scares Sudako as he knows that this will get him into huge trouble, but this also angers him as the guy who caused it to fall tries to attack him again, and Sudako gets a neck clinch on him before delivering some brutal Muay Thai style knees to knock him down. Another one of the goons sees this opportunity and tries to take advantage of it and try to take out Sudako. He leads in with a punch, but Sudako sees it coming and ducks down, making his opponent's punch go waywards and miss the mark. As he loses all of his momentum, Sudako jumps right up with a loaded uppercut, putting his body behind the blow and uses the upwards velocity to deliver a kumkok ridiculously powerful blow, which lifts the guy off his feet. And such is his speed that Sudako uses the millisecond of time when his opponent is off his feet and in the air to make a spin and land a spinning back kick to the chest of his opponent, which sends the guy flying back into the wall, and the power in which he was thrown back with the kick leaves a crack on the wall. This shocks one of the goons who was preparing to attack Sudako, now knowing what kind of dangerous man they've gotten themselves into a fight with. The man is petrified by what he sees, and just when he looks back, he sees a demon of a man standing behind him who loads up a right cross and hits him with it, which ends up knocking his lights out for the day. Sudako then stands around and sees that the fighting is still going and understands that he is truly screwed for what's going on and will be blamed more for being involved directly in this fight himself. That is when a door beside Sudako opens up and more people end up joining the fight from the side of the first-year squad of Gukyang High School. We see one of the kids delivering a Superman punch to one of the guys, another one getting one of the goons into a chokehold, while Jang Young who delivers a flying knee strike to the bridge of the nose to one of Manhwa's men. Despite the boys from the first year of Gukyang having the lead at this point, with them dominating from all sides, there's still an exception out there as we see Hwang and Sim laid out on the floor, trying to cover himself getting kicked and stomped by one of the goons of Manhwa. The beatdown is relentless and Hwang and Sim has no choice but to submit and take a beating. However, he is saved by the incoming punch that was delivered by his friend Young-tae. After punching out the guy, Young-tae asks Hwang and Sim if he is doing okay, to which Hwang and Sim, ever the comedian, says that he is doing fine and that he is down on the floor because he was looking for some object. Just then Young-tae is almost ambushed by a goon, but Deok-gu beats away the ambusher and saves Young-tae, establishing a new sense of bond between the unified group now under the leadership of Na Seon-wook. However, the guy he had punched away got very mad from being punched that way, and he shows his anger by yelling at them by saying that they'll finish them off for good. On the other hand, we see that a huge group of people from Manhwa's squad have gathered together in order to take care of the dangerous threat of Sudako and Jang Young, who both stand back to back in order to take care of the opponents who surround them from all corners. Sudako then asks Jang Young what is going on with these guys and why are they fighting at his workplace. Jang Young asks if Sudako works at this hotel bar during daytime and if that's the reason why he is always sleeping at school. Sudako gets pissed off WBY this and asks why does it matter if that's the case. Jang Young casually says that he doesn't care about it either way, and Sudako calls him out for his lack of manners to the upperclassman, and Jang Young tells him that he often gets called out for it. However, as their opponents are getting ready to attack, Sudako says he doesn't care about any of the first-year guys and just goes on to attack Manhwa's goons to start it off. Sudako starts off with a huge punch, while Jang Young also gets ready to take on the opponents head-on. Meanwhile, Na Seon-wook watches all this and can't help but get a feeling that something is off about everything and maybe a bigger problem is approaching. As Na Seon-wook thinks about these things, the notorious Lee Man-ho himself gets behind him and tells Na Seon-wook that his squad is better than he had given them any credit for, and while he cracks his fingers in preparation to fight, he tells Na Seon-wook that maybe it's time for him to get involved in this kind of fight after a long time. We see that this is the moment that stops everything for everyone. The fighting, which was going on for a long time before this, gets suddenly stopped as everyone from both sides stands still and see the two big men square up. It's on. Lee Man-ho, one of Gukyang High School's most notorious from the 1994 batch, is taking on the reigning Captain 99, the leader of the first years of Gukyang High, Na Seon-wook. As Lee Man-ho prepares himself, He jives his foot forward and twists his hip as he commits to throwing the first blow of the fight, that being a straight right hand. Na Sien-wook closely observes, closes his eyes and takes a deep breath before opening up his eyes and bobbing his left in the opposite direction just in the nick of time to avoid a devastating blow from Manhwa. However, Lee Man-ho is no spring chicken and he has it all calculated as he commits hard with the punch. But as he sees Na Sien-wook avoid it, he counters it immediately by using his lead shoulder to tackle Na Sien-wook's jaw, which sends the Captain 99 a few steps back. As Na Sien-wook tries to rejuvenate himself and see things clearly, Lee Man-ho follows his tackle up with a haymaker of a left hand, which Na Sien-wook is mostly able to take the sting out of with his head movement but still takes it, and gets sent back another few steps back. As Na Sien-wook goes back to observing again, we see that Lee Man-ho is thinking about how Na Sien-wook was able to skillfully take out the venom from most of his blow due to his observation skills and quick reaction reflexes. This excites Lee Man-ho even more as he now sees Na Sien-wook as a proper opponent, someone who he can have a proper fight with, and it's going to be something special between them. Lee Man-ho then calls out Na Sien-wook and warns him that if he doesn't manage to properly do the things that he has been trying from now on, he will be hurt as things are about to get very serious. Saying this, we see that Lee Man-ho has started to take off and drop the weight bands which he has been wearing on his ankle to possibly hold back his full power and also get some resistance training while he is at it. The goons of Lee Man-ho are also surprised as they can't believe that their boss just took off the weight bands he wears on his ankle. This means that this fight will get very ugly and might see some serious bloodshed. Even Na Sien-wook is a bit surprised knowing that Lee Man-ho has been loving at that speed while having approximately 1 kilo heavy weight bands on either ankles at once. Lee Man-ho then starts stretching and warming up as he is about to show the true extent to the power that he possesses and go all out. Lee Man-ho tells Na Sien-wook that he feels disrespected and very deeply hurt because of what Na Sien-wook has been doing. Everyone is a bit confused by this question, but Lee Man-ho reveals that he is aware of the fact that Na Sien-wook has been holding back in a proper fight with him and has been only using half of his abilities. That being said, Lee Man-ho then gets ready and dashes forward, intention being set clear, beat Na Sien-wook to a pulp and show the first years who he is. He tells Na Sien-wook that things will be very different from now onwards. After this, Lee Man-ho gets close and lands a very powerful and thudding right cross punch to Na Sien-wook, which sends him back flying this time and leaves a huge dent on the wall as Na Sien-wook went on to hit the wall from the power of the impact. This scares and shocks everyone, including Hwang In-sim, Jang Young-hoo, Young Tae, and Duk-gu, as they can't believe that their Captain 99 was sent back flying like this. However, Lee Man-ho doesn't just stand there and think that he finished off Na Sien-wook. Instead, he knows what just happened due to his great sensing ability. He calls out Na Sien-wook again, telling him that he is fully aware that Na Sien-wook managed to subdue the effects of that punch as well and is perfectly fine just playing possum. Na Sien-wook gets back up after that happened, and Lee Man-ho then goes on to give himself a proper introduction. He says that he is Lee Man-ho, a graduate of the infamous Gukyang High School and a member of the 1994 line. This shocks everyone from Gukyang High School, as well as they can't believe how it's someone from the infamous 1994 batch, which is known to have some scary and legendary fighters. Meanwhile, Na Sien-wook also confidently introduced himself as Na Sien-wook. Lee Man-ho then tries his best to remember if he had heard the name Na Sien-wook before, and comes to conclusion that he doesn't know anyone who has that name. However, it's weird to him how he, Lee Man-ho, doesn't know about someone on the level of Na Sien-wook. Lee Man-ho then ends up asking Na Sien-wook if he really is from Gukyang, as he understands that Na Sien-wook isn't from the place. Lee Man-ho says that Na Sien-wook being an outsider just made him realize that it will be much more fun to finish off an outsider, and then he calls him out for the fight of a lifetime. Na Sien-wook then tells Lee Man-ho that he was just waiting to evaluate the skills of him, and now he has a good grasp of what he is like, so now he will come at him. After hearing this, Lee Man-ho is getting back into fighting position, but before he can even do it, Na Sien-wook moves his massive body frame by the speed of lightning to arrive near Lee Man-ho. Na Sien-wook then asks Lee Man-ho if he meant for him to be like this when he said that he has to do things the right way, before delivering a massive punch of his own, which is fully blocked by Lee Man-ho, but Na Sien-wook's power is too much. Lee Man-ho wonders how this guy is on the same level as him when it took Lee Man-ho 23 years to get on this level. Yet this guy is just as fast as him. Lee Man-ho then realizes that Na Sien-wook isn't on the same level of quickness as him. In fact, he is faster than him. So the punch makes Lee Man-ho fly back into the wall and break it, just like how it went with Na Sien-wook before. Lee Man-ho still holds the guard from the attack, and it took away most of the damage that could have been done by the punch. Lee Man-ho then smirks and asks Na Seon-wook that even if it would have been too late, why didn't Na Seon-wook try to double down on the attack and continue to beat up Lee Man-ho when he had a good chance to do so? Lee Man-ho asks Na Seon-wook if he thinks of him as some senile old man, not worthy of taking a full-powered version of him on his own. Na Seon-wook stoically replies by saying that one cannot attack someone who fell or is not in control of himself. This rages up Lee Man-ho even more, who says that he appreciates the thinking from Na Seon-wook, but it's something that Na Seon-wook will regret from now onwards, as Na Seon-wook gets into fighting position again and asks Na Seon-wook if he is ready for another round. This time Lee Man-ho means business as he dashes forward at top speed and is about to attack Na Seon-woo, who once again stands there and waits patiently to see what to do as things start to unfold in front of him. Lee Man-ho goes for another loaded upright punch, but Na Seon-wook uses his superior head movement to dodge it, or so he though, as even a slight hint of contact with the punch draws blood from the face of Na Seon-wook, who himself is a bit shocked. Lee Man-ho follows it up with a swinging haymaker left, which also doesn't really connect but has the same result as the previous blow. Lee Man-ho has got the advantage in the fight now as he charges Na Seon-wook, who is in full defensive mode, trying to block and dodge the oncoming flurry of punches from Lee Man-ho, mostly managing to avoid the direct hits, but the ones that even slightly graze him end up doing a lot of damage to him. However, as the sequence goes on, Lee Man-ho notices that his speed is slowing down considerably and that he isn't able to keep up with Na Seon-wook's pace, who is now moving around a lot more. That is when Lee Man-ho admits and declares Na Seon-wook as a strong person. Only his boss and Na Seon-wook are the ones who made Lee Man-ho go beyond his limit and go all out with everything he knows. And as Na Seon-wook is a bit shocked seeing him prepare, we see that Lee Man-ho is looking like he is possessed by a demon as he is ready to end it all with his special technique, the ultra top speed, where he moves in a speed that is too much for any human to keep up. And so Lee Man-ho uses that technique. He dashes forward in unreal speed and is about to use that momentum to attack Na Seon-wook when he sees Na Seon-wook standing there. Lee Man-ho thinks that Na Seon-wook is too slow, but in actuality, Na Seon-wook is observing again, and just when Lee Man-ho gets complacent, he notices a fist in front of his face, to which he is running into at ultra top speed. Na Seon-wook has used one of his secret techniques as well, the perfect rebuttal, counter move, which uses the opponent's momentum against them and give them a reply befitting. This shocks everyone in the building. The punch sends Lee Man-ho into oblivion, who can't believe how strong and skilled Na Seon-wook is. Lee Man-ho then talks about the time when one of his friends Fro Sol told him that once upon a time, two guys on their own managed to conquer the complex scene of Seoul. One of the men described was a man with a strong jawline, while the other one had tattoos on his arms just like Na Seon-wook. He also had a gut like him, and he was super strong and resilient. Not to mention that person also used this counter technique that Na Seon-wook used. The duo was called the Star Guys. Upon seeing such a broken down state of their leader, the goons of the gang decide to attack Na Seon-wook and his squad again in retaliation. However, Lee Man-ho himself tells them to stop and concedes defeat, saying that it's their loss on this occasion. Later on, when everything has stopped, a loud laughing is heard from the hotel room as we see that everyone from Na Seon-wook's crew alongside Lee Man-ho sit together and have a drink and conversation together. Meanwhile, the bully who bullied Deok-gu is made to sit on his knees and raise his non-broken hand up in the sky. Lee Man-ho says that they apologize for making such a huge mistake and laughs this situation off. And this unsettles our squad as they can't believe the menacing man is acting so normally now. Lee Man-ho then talks to Deok-gu's bully, to whom he said that if he comes running after making a mistake, would Lee Man-ho have helped him? He only helped him because he thought that the kid had gotten into trouble for no reason and needed Lee Man-ho's support in all of this. Deok-gu's bully tries to laugh this off like it's nothing, but it pisses off Lee Man-ho, who gets into his face and asks him if he is taking advantage of Lee Man-ho because he thought of him as a little brother. If he is using him as a chip to get out of trouble after he, himself, created it for himself and everyone else. This scares the bully, who says that he doesn't think of it that way and that it's impossible for him to even consider it. He also goes on to say that he is deeply apologetic for what he caused. Lee Man-ho tells him that he should get things straight and not get into trouble further on, and that he should live his life rightfully and peacefully from now. The bully apologizes again, to which Lee Man-ho said that he should apologize to the people he caused trouble to. The bully then looks at Deok-gu and says that he is really sorry for what he has done, and that he will be sure not to ever repeat it again. Na Seon-wook tells Deok-gu that it's up to him if he wants to forgive or not, to which Deok-gu said that he is fine with the apology, but he wants to make sure that the bully doesn't cause any issues for anyone at his area, to which the bully said that he won't. Lee Man-ho further warns the bully, saying that if he breaks these promises, Lee Man-ho will personally find him and finish him off for good. Lee Man-ho then tells the bully to leave and not repeat these mistakes ever again. Then the bully gets up and runs for his life as if he was in an Olympic sprint event. Deok-gu is surprised by how fast he was, and then Lee Man-ho puts down his card in front of them and says that he was in the wrong too for fighting them, and says that they should keep his card in case of any future issues. They can count on him, as he promised to pay back with twice as much effort to make up for the mistakes they've made. Na Seon-wook takes the card, and Lee Man-ho tells him that they definitely would need it someday. Then Lee Man-ho gets ready and leaves with his squad. Everyone in Na Seon-wook's squad is relieved after a hard day. Hwang In-sim says that he thought of Lee Man-ho's squad as some legit gangsters, but they turned out being decently nice people. Jang Young, who then thanks everyone for the hard work that day, and Na Seon-wook says that they should all go their ways now as they have school the day after. Just as they're about to go, Deok-gu and his friends call them out and bow together to thank them. Jang Young, who says that they shouldn't do this and instead get them a PC room to play games. Na Seon-wook tells them that friends don't bow like that. Outside, we see that Lee Man-ho is getting called by the 94 boss, John Suk. Later on, at the group meeting, we see that 97 boss, Ma Suk-pil, is mad because all the seats of third years are filled, all the seats of second years are filled, but first year seats are fully empty. They're bothered by the fact that none of the first years even bother showing up to meetings, and the fact that they're not collecting money like before. Ma Suk-pil asks Chong Suk for an update, and Chong Suk tells Ma Suk-pil that his people are transferring in as first-year students soon. We see that it's a girl and boy, both with pinkish hair and a certain kind of aura. Ma Suk-pil asks if they are the ones, to which Chong Suk says that they're indeed the ones, and that they'll take back the first-year crown for the group and the leader. Next up, at the school and the first year's classroom, we see that the two transfer students from before are there. The teacher informs everyone that these two are the new transfer students of the school. And we see that the boys are already crazy about the bad girl looks of the girl, and girls are crazy about the soft looks of the boy. The teacher tells them to introduce themselves. The girl is about to do just that when we see that the boy has already jumped the gun and gone near Na Seon-wook. Na Seon-wook asks him who he is, and the boy refers to Na Seon-wook as the captain of the first year and says that he would love to be friends with him. But Jang Young, who puts forward his crutch to create distance, and he confronts the new guy, asking him why is he jumping the gun and already trying to be so close. The boy then says that he heard about Jang Young, who too, stating that he heard how Jang Young, who messed up the first day at school and got severely injured. This offends Jang Young, who, and they both give each other side eyes. The teacher calls the boy back, and he apologizes and says that they will redo their intros starting with the girl. The girl says that her name is Cheon Tae-pung and is in a careless mood. This hypes up the boys, who can't believe how pretty she is and how pretty her name is. Meanwhile, the girls find this behavior cringy. The boy then introduces himself as Cheon-dung and says that he doesn't know a lot of things, so he hopes everyone takes care of him. The girls are now going gaga over him, and the boys think it's too much of an overreaction. Later we see that the class bell has been rung for the lunch, and Hwang In-sim approaches Na Seon-wook, asking him if he would like to go for lunch together. But Cheon-dung interferes midway and asks Na Seon-wook the same thing, that if he would like to go to the canteen with him. Hwang In-sim is a bit bothered by how the guy barged in midway and how he is so assertive. They share a cold stare at each other before Cheon-dung gets back to Na Seon-wook, who isn't really interested. Na Seon-wook then asks him about his name, to which Cheon-dung explains what his name is like, and Na Seon-wook says that it's a pretty rare name. Then we see Park Suzy entering the classroom to meet Na Seon-wook, and she notices Cheon Tae-pung right away. She notices how pretty she is, her nose, eyes, everything. Cheon-dung tries to approach her, but is quickly pushed away by Park Suzy, as she goes ahead and drags Na Seon-wook to have lunch with her. Later on we see that Cheon-dung is talking to Chong Suk. Chong Suk tells him that it's his duty as a senior to take care of the mess that his juniors are making, and that if Cheon-dung remembers the objective they had in mind when joining the school. Cheon-dung says he does have it in mind and that he will fully pay back for some favor Chong Suk did for him back in the days. Meanwhile, we see that Hwang In-sim is in the toilet, suffering from constipation, when a few kids enter the toilet as well. The kids talk about how Na Seon-wook is cool and better than Park Ki-duk, and how all the kids who hang out with him is cool too except for Hwang and Sim. They say that the only reason they have a loser like Hwang and Sim in the squad is because they feel bad for him. Hwang and Sim writes this off as those guys not knowing what they're talking about, but as he thinks about the past, when no one wanted to talk with him or even go eat together with him, or when the kids at the soccer club would make fun of him for not being good enough. He realizes that he must be really embarrassing for everyone. A lot of thoughts cross his mind, and we see a very different look on Hwang in Sim's face for the first time. We then see another flashback from middle school where a new transfer student had joined the class that Hwang and Sim was in. At first, the student was a bit awkward, but Hwang and Sim and his friends helped him settle into the group by playing games, going out, etc. However, one day, as they got chocolate milk from the school, Hwang and Sim asked his friend to throw it at him. His friend did so, but Hwang and Sim failed to catch it and dropped it on the transfer student's head. He quickly apologized a lot and even offered to give him a change of clothes, but the boy coldly refused, saying that Hwang and Sim's size won't fit him. From there on, a sort of stigma was built around Hwang and Sim. All his friends who he trusted so much started to talk behind his back, and they started a rumor that he tried to mess with the new student on purpose. All this was getting to Hwang and Sim, and he soon got replaced in his own friend circle by the new guy. However, Hwang and Sim tried to play it cool and blend in with the group, but he was unfortunately always a background member with no identity. Meanwhile, the new student grew in status every day. One such day, the new student were trying to bully a few kids, and one of the kids stood up to the new student and knocked him out with a straight punch. The person was Jang Young, and he even asked Hwang and Sim that if he wanted to come with him, he could come instead of being left behind. Finally, someone who understood Hwang and Sim had arrived, and he wanted to be cool just like him. Back to the present time, we see the group talking to Jang Young, and ask him when he is going to take off the cast, as he has been wearing it for ages, and joke around with him. Then we see that Hwang and Sim tries to join in on the conversation. Jang Young asks where he was, and just because his inner self told him to keep it cool and to ignore what those kids said, Hwang and Sim played his normal character and said he went to poop. As the day went on, the group kept talking, and Young Tae was telling them something about a show he watched when Hwang and Sim startled him with a blow to the back. Young Tae looked back and said that he was in the middle of talking in a pretend rude way as always. However, Hwang and Sim is insecure, and he apologizes to Young Tae, who is shocked as to why he would apologize when Young Tae wasn't even serious. Hwang and Sim's inner self told him to be cool again, and he spun it around saying that he was pretending to be sorry to catch them off guard. Later onwards, as the group are talking after school, Hwang and Sim joins in and asks if they want to go to PC room together. Jang Young says he has an appointment. Na Seon-wook has to study with Kang Minju, and others have other stuff to do as well. Hwang and Sim is a bit sad, but he plays it cool, saying that he would have paid for everyone, but no one is interested and they all go their own way. This really bothers Hwang and Sim, but he plays it cool and goes to play alone to the PC room. After going, he couldn't enjoy the game and left soon. On his way back, he felt hungry, and just then he saw that the entire group are together and are entering a hotel room. He is shocked to know they lied to him about having appointments and are hanging out together, but he has to play it cool, so he decides to join them. But he soon realizes that do they want him to even join? All the things that those kids said about him play back in his head. Maybe they don't want him to come after all, maybe he is a bother, maybe he is embarrassing, and maybe they only have him around because they feel sorry for him. As the depression starts kicking in, Cheon-dung arrives to the scene and asks Hwang and Sim if he wanted to join him to eat if he was hungry too, as Cheon-dung hadn't eaten, and he doesn't have any friends. Hwang and Sim is touched by this and immediately agrees to join up with him and eat together right away. Cheon-dung has a sinister smile on his face, as he is about to exploit Hwang and Sim to make his way up the ladder going forward.